Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 7. If you can believe it, just 2 more weeks and you are officially done with this course. And for some of you, are on your beginning, some of you second or third class in to getting closer to completing your master's. So congratulations on that. I just want to give you the overview for this week. Exciting news. There's not an official assignment due this week. Some of you might be cheering about that. Some of you might be thinking, that's great, I get work time for other things. So we'll talk about that as well. So we'll give you that overview for this week. Thank you again, reading through some of your questions, your takeaways, and looking at your difference of the drivers from week 5 have been really great to see in that reflective piece. And it looks like we really can see where those 4 drivers need to come together and work together to really have a school moving forward. So week 7 is starting to talk more about conflict. So the focus of week 7 is how do we manage that conflict in schools today, looking at the different types of conflict that can come into play. I think of just sometimes the hidden conflict that happens on a campus that as a leader you might not know about, or it might come to you after things have boiled over. And if you had known ahead of time, you could have helped ease or let some of that steam out of the conflict that could be brewing. I know for me, one of the pieces that I've gone through in training with my district is interest-based bargaining, or the IBB process. And one of those is trying to address what that conflict might be in making it a story. Having both sides tell their elements of what they understand of the story, having both giving their ideas or solutions into how to address that, and then coming to see where they can compromise together. So just one way of trying to solve conflict. And then you're going to read more this week about conflict strategies as well. So that's what the joy of this week is. You don't hire people that all agree with you, because if you did, you definitely would not move everything forward with the best checks and balances. You do want a variety of opinions that come in, not negative opinions, but those willing to say, you know what, I disagree with that. And a disagreement can cause conflict, but hopefully you set up norms that can address how we interact with each other when we disagree with something as well. So you'll be reading that this week. The reading for this week is in green, the practicing the art of leadership. Sorry for that blunder. It's really about managing, in chapter 7, managing conflict in today's schools. You will also have a TED Talk. It's Simon Sinek. He talks about, and you'll see it right here in his video, the what, the how, and the why, and it really goes back to that center of the why. Why are we doing what we're doing, and being reflective on that? So it's about an 18-minute TED Talk, but he has got some pretty valid points in looking at organization and how you as a leader can move things forward. So those are the 2 reading components, or digital literacy, for this week. You do have a learning module, that's instructional leadership and change. You'll be looking at how you as a leader want to move change forward, and that's a connection to week 8's assignment of the reform strategy that you and your group will be presenting. So not the learning modules this week, the presentation is next week in week 8. So week 7 does have a discussion board. The discussion board asks you to read over a scenario about being a middle school principal, having to address, again, if you were the principal of a middle school and half of your faculty wanted to have reading in the content areas for all students, and the other half wanted self-contained remedial classes for only those students who needed assistance with the reading development, how would you resolve the conflict? So it's really a seeing how you would decipher that. Again, feel free to take in liberties such as, you know, that this process is set up, or you know this program, so if you're taking from your experience, you can do that. But really look through the conflict strategies that you've read through this week and give your insight. I believe Kristen and Joyce have already started to give theirs for this week. They're ahead. Congratulations to them. But if you please make sure by Thursday night to give how you would address this conflict, and then by Sunday night being able to give a comment back to your peers in the class, going to comment to how they would approach it. thought or maybe even a question to how they would approach it as well. So that is the week 7 in a nutshell. That meaning the reading of chapter 7, um, which is managing conflict in today's schools, watching the TED Talk with Simon Sinek on how great leaders, doing the learning module, and then the discussion board for the week. You do have the Christian message. John C. Maxwell continues to reflect on being a leader and how to feed your faith in that balance. Again, another great video series to just encourage you to be feeding who you are in Christ, so that way you can be the best leader in the eyes of Christ, in the eyes of God, being able to be fair and just, and help manage those conflicts in a way that builds, not tears down. So just some thoughts in your Christian message, which is, again, always optional for you. And then the look ahead I started to talk about is your group and being assigned to your group. The reminder here, forgive me, I thought I had it up, but I don't have it up. Let me, I'm going to go back to the discussion board. Not the discussion board, I'm sorry, the announcements, because I don't have the form that I was looking for up. But your reminders of the group members here, there are 5 groups. You should have responded in discussion board number 2 for week 6. Just one member of your group putting what your focus is for your group on the reform strategy that you want to implement, and then the members of your group, so that way everybody can see what the topics are. Again, I'm not against topics being presented or being reflected on multiple times, but really in a group, think about what is that one reform that you could all agree on and maybe take away to apply as you become a leader too. Remember that you are only applying it to one of your school sites. It's not for all 3 of your school sites, as each group has about 3 members in it. You have a descriptor if you go into assignment number 6, which again is the presentation. A reminder for you about presentations. They will be 10 to 15 minutes long. So week 8, we meet, it's a live session on Monday night, June 25th at 6 p.m. I do expect all group members to be present at the same time. I'm going to be putting out this week the schedule for each group. You'll be scheduled in blocks of 15 minutes. So that way we know that we get through that, and it will be about an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes of us sitting together, but I think it's important that we listen to each other's presentations and be able to take away and ask questions too. So your group should really be interacting with one another. Week 7, like I said, not formal assignments except for the discussion board, but this is a week to get your presentation together, because you will be presenting it on Monday, June 25th at around 6 p.m. I do recommend, like I've shared before, doing it in a Google Slides, so that way you can all contribute to that slides or take on different slides, and then you'll be able to use it to present to the group on that Monday night, the 25th. So the assignment, again, is not due until week 8, but we're talking about it here in week 7 because it's your week of work to be able to get that done. Please let me know if you have any questions. I am always available through phone call, text. I apologize. My email and internet has been wonky. AT&T is not being a good friend to us at my house. So I will do my best to respond to emails as quickly as possible. But a call or a text, I will try and respond ASAP. So I hope that you have a great week, and God bless.